said, we left a lot of yards out there, so we just got to execute and be a little bit more detailed in what we do.
Do you like the way the run game has sort of progressed as the season's gone on?
Yeah, I mean, I thought those guys behind us are doing a heck of a job at, whether they're hitting the hole hard, bouncing it when they need to bounce it, but they've done a heck of a job for us, and it's a lot of fun to watch them, burst up the seam or through a hole and just do their job. So they're doing a great job for us.
What are your thoughts on some of the young offensive linemen? I mean, you got young guys on both sides of you, Juwan and Luke Fortner.
Yep.
I mean, when we asked Juwan about your leadership in the offensive line room, he kind of lit up. Luke's done the same thing.
Yep.
What has your role been in those guys' development?
I'm just trying to do what I know I've said this before, like Trent Williams, Corey Lichtensteiger, Sean Laval, Morgan Moses, all those guys did for me pretty much. If I had a question, as a rookie coming in, you think you're going to get not hazed, but, you have little room to talk, you know what I mean? So I just told Luke, if you have a question, ask it, you know what I mean? Ask it, don't be afraid to ask. There's no stupid question because we all have to be on the same page in order for us to collectively do our job for everybody behind us. So I just told, he's going to be a heck of a player, and it's fun to watch him continue to grow each game.
Has he taken advantage of that and just throwing questions at you left and right?
No, he's a really smart football player. He is really smart. So he's done a great job, and we're just happy that he's there for us.
What's really your message as a leader after a game like yesterday?
Just continue to stick with the plan. We've been in every game that we've lost, so just go back, look at the film, which we did, and just don't get down. We have 11 more games, so 12 more games, right? Yeah. 12 more games, yeah. So just continue to stick with the plan, and don't. It's all about just sticking together. So that's what it is, and that's what we're going to do.
How can a young team learn to win those close games? I mean, the games you guys have lost have all been by one score. What is it about those games? How tough is it for young players to learn to kind of close the door in those kind of games?
Yeah, and Coach Pederson always talks about, it's the game is won and lost within a couple plays. So, we were in the red zone a couple times, and we came out with a couple field goals. So we have to, as an offense, put 7 on the board instead of 3 on the board for the defense. The defense did a heck of a job for us. If you hold the team to 13 points, you would hope that you could come out and win that game. So we had an opportunity to, but, the Texans did a heck of a job.
Is the frustration level pretty high, though, when you consider how well you guys played offensively against Indy and the Chargers, and then to come back and last week was obviously because of the weather was a big factor, but to just not get it done?
Yeah, it's frustrating because, like I said, you watch back on film and you left quite a few yards out there, and it's just like I said, the Texans out. They won in the end. It's all about who has the most points at the end, and they did a heck of a job. So it's frustrating, yes, but we can move on from this and grow and learn.
You got a game against the Colts coming up this week.
Yep.
You blanked them last time you played them. They're going to be amped up to see you guys again. How do you get ready for a game when the team's coming in wanting to kind of get some revenge?
It's just about watching film on what we did well the last time we played them, and what we didn't do so well last time we played them. So it's all about watching that film, moving on, and growing from that game, because we left a lot of yards out there last game too. So just doing our job and not trying to do too much. Just focus on what you can do and can control. You can control.
Do you like playing this team the second time so quickly after playing them the first time? Is there any benefit to that?
Me personally, I don't think there's any benefit. I don't know. We played. I don't know if this might be the quickest turnaround for a team that I've played before. So I'm not sure.
What's the response like from the locker room right now? After that first game, guys were like, "Man, we knew we should have won that one." How's the team dealing with this right now?
You could tell everybody was a little frustrated because I thought, we played a heck of a game, except for we just got to focus on the details, and then going back and watching film just frustrates you a little bit more. So we're all in good. Obviously as good a spirits as you can be, but Coach Pederson talked about flushing it and moving on. We don't want one game to carry over into 2 games.
Is it good to see guys that they're frustrated that they lost instead of just kind of accepting it and moving on, or is it?
Absolutely. Everybody's got that want to win and that want to get better. So I'm excited to see everybody respond on Wednesday, and we're gonna have a good day of practice.
Some of the guys that have been around here have talked about how the teams in the past have dealt with losses, and they quickly let the "here we go again" mentality kind of set in, how do you, as one of the leaders on this team, try to make sure that that doesn't set in around here?
Just continue to just tell the guys that it's not going to happen here with the leaders that we have here. I think we got some great leaders here, and we're not going to let that happen. All right, you bet. Thank you. You bet.
To win close games, all your losses have been by one score. How do you teach a roster to be able to close out those kind of games?
You just keep showing them on film, right? You show it during the week of practice. You have conversations during the week. You go over it and over it and over it. I go over it, as my messaging to the team each week. You got to stay consistent with it. We know that there's going to be some bumps and some hiccups in the road. That's part of it. And it's our job as coaches to help minimize, those. And so, yeah, it falls on the players because they're the ones playing. But I think myself, as a staff, we take in pride in helping those guys get through it.
What is Trevor doing differently, or what did he do differently yesterday than he did in those games against the Colts and the Chargers? Is it as simple as pushing it downfield too much, taking more chances, not taking the underneath stuff?
No, I mean, each game's different, right? You go into games and you sort of anticipate and you practice all week against a certain defense, certain coverages. You go against a Lovie Smith defense, you're going to get cover two. And it was, quite frankly, about 98% two-deep shell defense. And, we had the answers for it. But again, you're talking about a young quarterback that just needs time, needs reps, needs to see more of it, needs to understand that structures like that, their eyes are always going to be looking at the quarterback. They're not going to take their eyes off the quarterback. So, as a coaching staff, where we can help him is to where he can manipulate the defense with his eyes a little bit more, and still be able to find some underneath throws. Did a great job of pushing it down the field a couple times, down the middle to Evan and, just Dan Arnold on a deep out type route and things like that. And there's opportunities there. But we have to continue to show him. It's like trying to get a young team to figure out how to win. The same thing. We just got to keep showing him and keep talking to him, and and that falls more on us as a staff than it does on him.
Was Sunday a step back for where you thought this team was at?
Not really. I still think we're where we need to be, quite honestly. It's not perfect. We could easily be the other way around, when you look at the three losses. Obviously, I'm going to keep saying this to the team. It's about what we do, It's self-inflicted, You look at the third downs in this game, the defense should be off the field on a couple of those, and we weren't. A costly turnover deep in the red zone cost us points, penalties. So there's just those are all things we can control, and it's going to be that mindset as we go. It's how we handle those issues.
Does a loss like that one hit closer to home for you, since you're an offensive guy, play caller? The defense pitched a pretty good game, but the points just didn't come up?
I mean, it does, but those are the games you'd love to be in, games like that, because that's where you want someone to step up and make a play, right? It's like I told the team this morning, we're going to be in a lot of these close games this year, next year, whenever it is, and it's either going to be a 6-6 game or it's going to be a 28-28 game, and then somewhere a unit, a player, somebody's got to make a play, right? And and that's what we got to get our football team to do and understand, and they do understand that, and it's just a matter of going out and doing it. But I think we're at where we need to be. There's still those little mistakes that we got to correct and move on and get better from, and I know our guys will do that.
Ultimately, you want your quarterback to be that guy that wants to step up and make that play. Does Trevor have that sort of mentality?
He does. He's the type of guy that can he takes the hard coaching and he fixes it from week to week. And, is it always perfect? No, it's not always perfect, but he does have that mentality. He wants the ball in his hand, and we do everything we can to try to get him through that, and the more he plays, the better he'll get.
What kind of impression did you have of Travis and just kind of game that he had?
He had a great game. He was solid.
And then Ben, is there any update on his injury?
Getting more tests run today, and should have something for either later today or possibly on Wednesday or maybe even tomorrow, but we're getting more tests run.
Probably put you in a bad spot, but should Trevor have had some of this stuff coached into him last year? Did he get enough of it?
It's hard to say. I think, excuse me, I think we can speculate, all we want. I wasn't here. It's hard to comment on it. I just know working with him this year so far that everything is there that you want, in a quarterback to be successful in this league. And it's our job as a staff and as coaches to get him there.
How can you help to advance the process? Is it just a matter of spending time and giving him those opportunities, but you want to make sure those opportunities are high quality reps from him as well? So is it getting to know the quarterback, and the more that you get to spend time with him, you can make sure that he's in the right positions to make sure that those chances in better?
Yes.
How do you do that to kind of accelerate? Is it just the time you spend together in the meeting rooms where you understand what he's looking at, what he's seeing on the field sort of deal, or is it understanding who he is as a person even off the field? How does that come together?
I mean, I think it's all part of it, right? Who he is as a person, who he is as a player, what does he know, what does he not know, right? And it's our job as coaches is to fill in those gaps for him, and what you love about Trevor too is his work ethic. The way he competes in practice every single day, competes in games. You see the toughness out there, the mental and physical toughness out there, and it just comes. He's a young guy. Let's go back, just check him out. 3 years ago he was in college, right, and he had an offensive coordinator, and last year he had another offensive coordinator, head coach. This year is a new head coach, offensive coordinator. Everybody, it's not. There hasn't been consistency yet, right? And so we're trying to build as a team and as a unit that consistency around him and really around this team. And I know that once you get there, I mean, just look around the league, right? I mean, look how Cincinnati, I use that as a great example because you see how they took a young quarterback, struggled for a couple of seasons, and then bang, they're right where they need to be. I think we can have an opportunity this year to take advantage of some situations and get better as a team? I do, and the team believes that, but there's a process here, and a lot of times people nobody wants to wait anymore. There's always, it's now, and I get that. I mean, it's a win now mentality, and it's our job to try to speed that up the best we can, through practice, through prep, and just through teaching.
In your year off, while you were on the outside looking in, did you see that from some of the young quarterbacks where you said he just needs a little bit more time? He has the tools, maybe he doesn't have that consistency or not the best situation, and he just needs a little bit more time?
Look at Jalen. Look at Jalen Hurts. Great example last year. He's got a new head coach. He's got a new coordinator. Yes, they made the postseason, and he probably went through some growing pains last year. Now, second season, the same head coach, same coordinator, play caller, the whole thing. Add some more pieces around it, have consistency, things thrive. You look at the Bengals, young quarterback, things thrive. And you look at the Chargers. You could take a young quarterback, put the pieces around. There's consistency, things thrive. So it's a model, for success in this league. And it's just where we are at the time. But I know that with time, we'll be there, with those teams.
When you look at those young quarterbacks like Herbert, he had Keenan Allen right there, he had Eckler there, Mike Williams right there. Then you go look at Patrick Mahomes in the situation he stepped into with Tyreek and Kelsey. that's gotta be a major part of it too, that their supporting cast was a lot better than what Trevor had as a rookie, and that's gotta factor into it some, doesn't it?
It does, and that's why, we did the moves in the offseason with the free agents and guys like that to bring here that can help, help Trevor. And again, this is the two-way street, right? It's the players and coaches, and we're working together to try to build that consistency and have sustainability, year in and year out. Each time we take we take the field every year, and you just see it around the league, with offensive success, there's stability around the quarterback.
When you are as aggressive as you are on fourth down, you're gonna have probably games, because the numbers generally kind of even out, like yesterday, where things just don't work. How do you keep that aggressive mindset when you know that that's gonna happen at times?
You look at it and you go back and watch the tape, the plays are there. They're there. And we being coaches, need to teach a little better, okay? We need to show the players a few more examples of how those plays can succeed. And then we make them, right? And then we stay on the field. We convert the fourth down. We stay on the field. I don't regret any of the decisions at all. I think they were, favorable, for us to go at those times, taking out the end of game, fourth downs, but the normal in-game ones. And I would do them again. So it comes back to, again, it's the players and the coaches doing it together. We can't just rely, solely on the players to get it done. We got to make sure that we're, putting them in positions to see the plays, to execute the plays, and have success.
Have you been a part of a game where the offense moved the ball that well, had that many yards, and scored that few points?
It's hard to go back and think, but it's rare, but, you're 0 for 3 in the red zone, right? You're down there and you got chance, to put points on the board and score touchdowns, and you don't. And that's the frustrating thing sitting here today, is you look at that, and you might beat them on the stat sheet, right? But that doesn't matter. It's the final score, that matters the most. And this game, when you look at it, red zone efficiency, penalties, turnover, the takeaway margin, even time of possession possibly are all factors in, us not winning that game.
Are there small things you can tweak to improve the red zone offense? Mid-season, I know it's harder to make changes when you're.
No, but you can build on consistency. You can go back and see what you've had success in doing, down there. And granted, each week's a different defense too. So you're scheming for a different, a different front, a different coverage, in the tight red, low red, and but you can go back and look at similarities from week to week and see what's worked and try to continue to build on those plays each week, so there's familiarity with the offense or within the offense that the guys know.
Does it hurt at all in the red zone when Marvin's probably one of your few top shelf kind of receivers?
Does it hurt?
Yeah.
Like
when you call in plays, you got Marvin, who you can kind of put it up there and knows he can go get it, but you have a handful of receivers who aren't that kind of player necessarily. They create space. But
yeah, and Marvin's he's a good player down there, but we feel like we've got several good players down there, and we're going to be aggressive and try to take our shot to the end zone, but at the same time, with the quarterback and with Trevor, we can also check it down or run or keep us ahead, in the down and distance, and those are all things that like today that we can show and teach our players.
And John.
When you went back to the film, Christian's involvement, was that, Marvin and Evan just having a hot hand, or was Houston doing something to kind of maybe take him out of it?
Yeah, it was unfortunate when they, again, during the week when you anticipate a certain structure and you have some plays designed, for Christian, and then they come out and play that shell, cover two. It took away a few of those plays, and then we still have to find the ways to get Christian the football, and he's such a dynamic player for us that we got to make sure that we're doing everything we can to get him the football, and you don't ever want to be in a situation where he has 3 or 4 targets. He needs to be up there, 9, 10, 11 targets possibly, and being able to spread the ball around too, but as it was, there were some opportunities and we just missed on them.
Thank you all.
Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, guys.
Pretty good. How you doing?
Doing pretty good.
What type of back is Damian Pierce after seeing him for the first time?
A real physical, hard to tackle back, I would say, 100%.
Were you guys gassed a little bit in the fourth quarter?
I wouldn't say that. I felt like we were playing pretty solid, and he's just a hard person to tackle, I would say.
What sort of challenges did that Texans offensive line give you guys?
I really would say that they're a very good offensive line, but at the same time, I feel like we kind of beat ourselves in a way. I mean, it was really us, for sure, just not doing our job.
Do you feel like, for most of the game until the last drive where we broke off the long run, it was a step in the right direction in terms of run defense?
Oh, yeah. We definitely stepped it up from the week before, and we just continue to improve from there.
When it's a low-scoring game like that, the defense, I mean, just what kind of attitude you guys or mindset you guys go out with each drive, knowing that one play could decide the game?
As a defensive line, we're just thinking to stop the run at all times. Just keep on getting penetration, keep on knocking things back, and hopefully it works out for us.
How are you feeling right now? I mean, how's the locker room after this loss? I mean, back-to-back loss has been a strong start to the year, but do you see a resilience or a frustration level starting to build inside the locker room?
I feel like this game definitely was disappointing for us, but at the same time, there's always something to learn from. And I feel like as a team, we know we can play. We know we can win games. We know we can keep on pushing, winning more games later on in the season. And just understanding who we are and how we can keep on attacking and getting better each week.
Last time y'all played the Colts, y'all shut them out. You're going to get their best shot this week.
Yeah.
How does a defense do you prepare for that?
Just the same way we prepare any other week, just knowing we have to stop the run, know we have to get after the quarterback and affect him, and just keep on being violent and causing panic in the backfield.
You feel like Coach Pederson's done a good job of instilling the mindset of flushing games after a loss and just moving off from them quickly, not letting it linger?
Oh, yeah. 100%. He stays pretty positive with us. I mean, obviously, we have some negative things on both sides of the ball that we have to address and whatnot, but he's a pretty positive coach. He pushes us to be better, and he leads us in that way.
You've been here for a few years now. How do you see a difference in the way the team this year deals with a loss than in some of the years past?
Yeah. I feel like we're a lot more positive this year, and we understand that we can really win games. We're really a solid team. Not like we weren't before, but it's just a different mentality now.
How important or how big of a role has Coach Pederson been in instilling that belief in the locker room?
I would say a huge role. I mean, he is a leader in our organization, and he does a great job at it.
How have you seen Mike Caldwell grow into his defensive coordinator role over the first few weeks of the season?
He's been doing a great job. He calls some plays that works for us up front, at least from what I can talk about, and he does a good job at that. He keeps positive energy and really lets us know what things we can correct and get better out on the field.
What kind of impact does Foley have? Just if somebody plays next to him, what kind of impact does he have on the line when he's there in the game and when you guys have him?
He's a very violent individual, very, very hard to block, very big guy. So, I mean, for me, that just inspires me even more, just another big guy next to me to push harder, go harder on the game.
Has he been someone you've kind of leaned on this year just in terms of going to for any questions or anything like that, just knowing he's an older player who kind of plays a role like you?
100%. I'm always looking for somebody to get some tips from. He's obviously been in the league a few more years than I have, and it's always a good bouncing off ideas type deal.
The defense has pitched some pretty good games to start the year. How do you guys continue to improve as the year goes on?
Just keep on being fundamentally sound and keep on working on our techniques in order to be better. I mean,
and also just keep on elevating our game.
What's that defensive line rotation like for you guys? I mean, when you've got players like DeJuan Smoot and Arden Key that are kind of mixing in there, what's that like?
It's pretty even for the most part. I mean, there's certain players who do play a little bit more, but it does help when they come in and mix up the game a little bit more for us inside, especially.
What's the energy like that some of those guys bring just to the meeting rooms?
A lot of energy, especially Arden, as you guys may know. But yeah, a lot of energy.
Is run game when you're going against the Colts team, I mean, is the first thing you guys look at? I mean, I know most weeks you're say, okay, we'll stop the run first, but when you go against a back like Jonathan Taylor, if he does play this week, is that, I mean, that's got to be job number one, that you don't want him to start going off?
Oh, yeah, we definitely have to stop the run. I mean, that's every week. That's the only way we can really succeed, if we're stopping the run on first and second down. And this week is no different, really.
Guys, anything else? All right. Thanks, Devon.
Appreciate you, Devon.
Problem.